Hello and welcome to Athena Games unboxing stream for the C-ROC expansion. My name's Robin Farndon and I'm joined this evening by Max Bull and David Lincoln.
Hiya.
So, thank you for joining us. We've got an exciting beast of a scum ship to look at this evening.
Well, at the moment there seems to be two sitting on the table, but...
Well, the scum fleet can't be underprepared.
No.
It's got some much bigger guns brought against it. So, we've got two sets of stuff to look at this evening. We've got the C-ROC itself and its various editions for the Epic game. But we've also got a large quantity of new pilots for the M3A Interceptor, which also comes conveniently packaged, much like the TIE Advanced and the X-Wing have come in previous Epic expansions. So, chaps, what's your thoughts about the model first and foremost?
Well, the C-ROC or both?
Well, I do like that C-ROC, admittedly. I think it's...
Look at some of this.
Yeah, I know, right? How much of it moves?
None of it moves, unfortunately. This is all...
You kind of wish the turret at the back did, but it's only a minor thing. Or the satellite
But,
dish.
I mean, apart from that, I do like this.
It's a mammoth.
It is huge, but it looks... It does look like some kind of horrendously worn, bodged together cargo ship.
I love the kind of sort of scuffed, burnt heat shielding at the front. That's very scum.
Yeah.
As indeed are all of the kind of external cargo pods you've got going on.
And the engines are clearly burned.
I do like the fact that they've kept that Gazanti aesthetic in there as well, because it's the same core frame as the Gazanti.
But with different bits shoved on the sides.
Most of the scum sort of do that, take something, modify it, and make it their own, don't they? Really, is what they sort of tend to do. So modify Gazanti becomes a C-ROC.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people might have seen there is the pun C-ROC with a CROC shoe on top of there instead, but this is vastly prettier than one of those. So
as I
more
saw
space-worthy.
Exactly.
For your holes, very important.
Yes, not ideal for a spacecraft. And of course, we've got a new repaint M3A Interceptor as well.
Is it just repainted, or is there some slightly more detailing on the model?
I think it's the same physical model, but it's so I don't think it's a remold, but it's a much more detailed paint job.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to get more and more confused by the way the M3 and the Protectorate look at the inverse of each other.
Yes.
They
a bit, yeah.
Particularly since I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of these.
Now
about.
With this setup, they've got some nice shiny new toys.
Yes, a lot of shiny new toys, and obviously some of them can go across other scum ships as well. But we'll have a look at those as that goes on as well. And obviously some of the stuff can flip across from Epic to the smaller ships as well. So we'll have to see. That will probably have a impact going forwards as well.
Do we want to start by taking a look at the Epic stuff and then move on to the M3A?
That sounds like a good start.
So, to start with, we have our C-ROC Cruiser pilot card.
The one and only.
Yep, there, like all of the Epic ships, there are no alternative pilots, no named uniques, anything like that. It's a single card Epic, much like the Rebel Transport or the Gazanti, so no separate fore and aft sections to become crippled as you go along. It's got a maximum 4 energy, the standard Epic 0 agility, 10 hull, 4 shields, and then an awful lot of other things going on here. So action-wise, we've got Reinforce, Recover, Target Lock and Jam. For anyone watching who's not hugely familiar with the Epic side of the game, the Recover action allows you to spend energy to get shields back. The Reinforce action is the Epic equivalent of Evade, only it lasts the entire turn rather than just for one attack. Target Lock works the same, and Jam allows you to assign stress to other ships. And on the upgrade bar, we've got 2 crew, a Hardpoint, the Epic equivalent of secondary weapons, a team upgrade, Epic crew effectively, and then 3 cargo upgrades as well. So there's an awful lot you can pack in there.
And also at 35 points as well, that's sort of fairly cheap. If you think about it in standard play, that's about the same price value as a Ghost.
Yeah,
but you've got more of a model than a Ghost.
You have quite a bit of a... Yeah, well, the same amount of hit points, though.
No, two extra shields. 2 extra shields on a Ghost.
That is true, so easier to blow up.
Yeah. But obviously you could put some shield text and stuff in there to make it a bit more durable.
And it can recover its own shields just when it wants to.
35 points is definitely a bargain for all of this, though. That is a very good price point, I think, for this to be coming in at.
Yeah.
And it's quite an interesting ship in general. It's obviously designed to be more of a combat vessel than the Rebel transport, and doesn't have the carrier capabilities of the Gazanti. So I think it's
somewhere in
designed...
between, isn't it?
It's halfway between a civilian, halfway between a military vessel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, by the way.
Commonly referred to as a pirate ship.
We have got a selection of new epic upgrades in here. There are a few existing ones as well. For those of you who are epic fans, you'll be pleased to hear that it comes with another copy of automated protocols and another copy of optimized generators, both of which make for a much more energy and action efficient ship than you might otherwise have. We've also got 3 titles, but do we want to do the rest of the upgrades, or should we do the titles first? Probably worth covering the titles first.
The titles.
So I look at trying to build some of these. It's like they're all different in their own little way. Like I looked at the Rebel transport as well, and I was like, oh, there's so many different ways you can run that as well, which is is nice as well. As a non-epic player, predominantly, it's bit of an more interesting challenge, isn't it? Really, I suppose.
Well, there's much less of a defined meta around epic play as well. So I think you're freer to
experiment.
Yeah, there's not quite the same kind of established this is good, this is bad as yet.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 titles for the C-ROC. We've got the Broken Horn, which gives you +2 energy. When defending, if you have the reinforced token, you may add 1 additional evade result. If you do so, after defending, discard your reinforced token, and that's 5 points. The ability is alright. It's something you probably want to be using at the end of your turn against the last shot you're taking, because otherwise you're going to be bleeding off a lot of defence. But that +2 energy capacity is quite a big deal. That bumps the C-ROC up to 6 energy, which is quite a potent amount to have on board.
Yeah.
And particularly with some of the other upgrades that you can throw around. We've got the Insatiable Wart. This is an interesting one. It's the first time we've seen an epic title that actually has a negative energy value. So that takes your energy total down from 4 to 3. However, it's not all bad news. It's only 1 point, and after you perform the recover action, gain 3 energy.
So it's a nice sort of regen. Do everything first, then do a recover action, get all your 3 energy back.
Fill back up.
Yeah. No, there's some neat things that you can do there, I think. I need to list build with that one. It's got potential written all over it, I feel. And last of all, we've got Merchant 1. So that's +1 energy. And your upgrade bar gains an additional crew upgrade and an additional team upgrade icon, and it loses 1 cargo upgrade icon. For those of you who are fans of Rebels, you'll probably remember some of these ship names as well from there.
I was going to say I tried to remember the ones from the moment you said it, but the name eluded me. Broken
Horn's Visago ship, I believe, and I think Merchant 1 is as Morrigan's.
Audie Weasel says, at Nova Open this year, I'm playing in the Epic Furball. 300 points, you have to take a certain amount of points in huge ships on a 3x3 board. That sounds tight.
That sounds like it is going to be lethal.
1 move, everything dead.
Well, if you aren't careful with it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. One of the things about epic play that's always kind of taken me a bit off guard is that for all that these ships have got these massively potent stat lines and look really durable, they can get focused down really rapidly with that 0 agility value. You do need to fly solid Star Wars style tactics of having a fighter screen to protect your capital ships.
Yeah, I mean 14 hit points is the amount of ships you're going to have on the board in an epic game. That's easy enough to drop down.
Yeah.
Especially three attack dice primaries and stuff. It's not going to take too long.
Nah, that's just gonna drop if you're not careful with it.
So next up on our upgrades, we've got the heavy laser turret, which is another C-ROC only upgrade. So unfortunately, this is not one you'll be able to strap to your other epic ships. It can hold 2 energy, and it's a 4 attack dice. Range 2 to 3 secondary weapon of the Hardpoint variety, and its attack energy. Spend 2 energy from this card to perform this attack against one ship, even a ship outside of your firing arc. So basically, you've got the dash equivalent heavy laser turret.
I was going to say you've got a heavy laser cannon, which has now become a turret, which for 5 points is considerably less than what it would take to strap one of those and make it a turret on an Outrider.
Yeah, absolutely.
By a fairly significant
by the
margin.
7 points of the HLC.
Yes,
ironically enough.
Yeah, but considering the size of the base on this thing, that's going to cover an awful lot of board.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I suspect this is going to be the only hardpoint we see equipped to the C-ROC for the most part. Epic ships by their nature are not fast at turning around, and just having the forward-facing firing arc it would otherwise have, I think would make it a bit too vulnerable.
Yeah,
because it's not like it's the CR90 or the Raider where they've got fire arcs all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be the go-to for the C-ROC, though there may be some interesting fun to be had with, I don't know, putting homing missiles on it or something like that if you've got the Ordnance Tube upgrade. Then we're getting into some more generally applicable
Bits and
pieces. Starting off a theme that we'll see continued through the rest of the expansion, we've got quick release cargo locks. And quick release cargo locks are a C-ROC cruiser and GR75 only card. So you can put this on your Rebel transport. It's a limited upgrade, so you can only have one of these. And at the end of the activation phase, you may discard this card to place 1 container token. Now, I don't actually know what placing a container token does. So I might dig the rulebook out and pass that across to one of you chaps to just see if we can find the details.
I was going to say, as a very unknowing epic player, it might be worth me doing that, and then you and Max can...
literally played 1 game.
You played one more game. Actually, no, we played the same amount of games.
So this part is more Robin's part of the day.
Am I the epic veteran in the room then?
Yes.
Maybe Elliot's played a few more games.
I've played a good 3 or 4 games of Epic. Yeah.
Ah, good show. There we go.
Yeah, fantastic. That's
that's more than both of us combined.
Yes. Oh dear, where is it? I think there's some sort of a generic thing here. I can't actually find it.
If I would have looked through there, I'll see if I can find it in there. Yeah,
and we'll come back to that one in a moment.
When we know what the thing does.
The broad gist of what I've got from it, from a little bit of looking online, is it's more or less the same as a rigged cargo chute. You drop some additional obstacles onto the board, everything gets a bit chaotic. And for those of you who've been watching Rebels, it's a bit like that moment from an episode where cargo gets flung at a Gazanti.
Container tokens. Container tokens are treated as asteroid obstacles. To place a container token, set the token down on the play area adjacent to physically touching the base of that ship. It cannot be placed overlapping a ship or an obstacle.
Okay. So there you are then.
Says about page 6 of the book in here.
Like a rigged cargo chute, but acting like an asteroid rather than a debris cloud.
Yeah, by the sounds of that, yes.
There we go. That's what that does.
And not being able to overlap is
No.
quite an interesting criterion there.
You can't drop them directly on someone.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know, right? Directly in front of someone.
It's a different kettle of
That's
fish.
fine. On top of not so
No.
much.
I suppose you've got a lot more finesse about the placement than you do with the rigged cargo chute because it's anywhere adjacent to your base.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, given the size of an epic base, again, gives you a massive amount of board coverage potentially. So
Mm.
that I think has got the potential to be a really disruptive presence in some of those kinds of.
Just pulling up the template and actually looking at it.
Oh, good point. Let's have a look at that. Somewhere in this exciting assortment of cardboard.
Which also has a point that you should discuss.
And there's
Yes.
there's
we'll
a
come
ton
to
of
that.
boards in here as well.
It was the
first
bottom
one.
down
Is
here.
The first one.
This token
There
right
we
there.
go. So, we have one cargo.
Looks like that.
That is huge.
It is big.
It is probably about the size of just bigger than one of the large asteroids. So it's very large.
It is.
And it's also the width as well. It's got quite a wide coverage on that.
It
You
does.
drop that down in front of a tie swarm, and they're going to have a
few of them are going
problematic
through it.
turn. Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of fun with that.
As Elliot has rightly said, there is another point we should quickly.
Hang on a minute, I've just worked out something. If I can go on the GR75 and you can drop one of those,
Yep.
if it's deemed as an obstacle, you could seismic torpedo it up.
You absolutely could.
Because it's treated as an asteroid.
So you have something sitting behind it that activates after this, blows it up.
It's placed at the end of the activation phase.
Oh, dang it. So I have to take
So-
one turn in advance.
Yes.
But it's
you'd
still
have-
doable.
doable. You just have to set it up. You can also do the same thing with the rigged cargo chute.
I mean, 300 points definitely gets you one of these and 4 jump masters with rigged cargo chutes.
You know how Elliot loves the
mean,
word
mean
jump
man.
masters.
So,
Think about what you've done.
Fortunately, he's already in the corner.
as Elliot has very rightly said, we'll just take a quick break from the upgrades to mention an interesting factoid about the C-ROC's base. And specifically, those of you who are Epic fans will notice there is no blue dividing line. Despite the repeated references in the rules book for it, that there is a blue dividing line printed on the base.
Oops.
Best guess is that there's been a bit of a printing mistake with this particular...
Either on the template or in the book.
I have a sneaking suspicion a blue line may have been missed off that base.
I do suspect that it was supposed to be on the template.
However, FFG, I think it was just last night, released a new FAQ, which caused a bit of a stir in the community until people sat down and read it and realised the main points of the FAQ were putting the words scum only on the IG-2000 title, so the TIE aggressor will not be able to equip it.
Sensible enough.
One or two other minor points of clarification, and specifically stating that for the C-ROC, the fore section is the firing arc, and the rear section is everything that's not in the firing arc.
Which gives it a slightly odd-shaped fore and aft.
But it's close enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Close enough.
It won't make a huge amount of difference, but it is going to create a slightly different play dynamic around it, I think.
Which, given its large engines, I actually think it also makes a bit of sense as well.
Yeah, no, it does fit the model profile quite well.
Yeah.
But that I think that probably was an error on the base, which I do suspect was supposed to have one of those.
The exciting thing about this, though, is it's not just FFG who missed this. All of us missed this, because that absence of that blue line has been on there in every preview article as well.
It has. It's been months.
I'm going to hold my hands up as much as anyone else. I pick over those preview articles in great detail, looking for anything I can find, and I didn't notice that. Clearly, playing more Epic is the cure for all of this.
Well, we do have a Team Epic event coming up in July, I do believe, so hopefully we'll see some of these hit the table and see how it works then.
1st of July, currently making rules and events.
Wojtek and I have terrible, terrible plans. Everyone feels suitably warned.
Let me guess, does it involve the four said jump masters you just mentioned?
We'll see.
And maybe 4 IGs.
We may have had discussions precisely along these lines.
Well, have you realised that because of 200 points per player in the event going forwards, that means I can take 8 Spandau Ballet Y-Wings, which is ion cannon turrets and BTLA-4.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yes. Wojtek and I did specifically think that taking a whole bunch of TLT Y-Wings might mean that no one would play X-Wing with us ever again.
Fair.
So, moving on, we've got some crew. for the C-ROC. We've got as Morrigan. I think we will have a slightly larger card image in a moment. Sorry, I'm
One that you can see. There we go.
making Elliot keep pace here.
There he is, scheming.
Yes, nice bit of artwork there. So as Morrigan is a huge ship only, scum only crew upgrade. And at the start of the end phase, you may spend 1 energy to replace a face-up crew or team upgrade you have equipped with another upgrade card of the same type of equal or fewer squad points. So effectively, you can switch your loadout mid-game.
Yep.
This is a complete first for X-Wing.
So which
Wonderful.
bounty hunter are you going to slide in there mid-game?
Wonderfully scummy, though. Wonderfully scummy.
Or effectively every single turn.
Yeah, no, you can change
It's
this,
not necessarily mid-game, like halfway through. It's at the end of every single turn.
Yep, you can do that for as long as you like. Just switch out for whichever equipment is best right now.
You kind of feel that would work quite more nicely on the
Merchant
insatiable wart,
Oh,
because you
yeah.
get the 3 energy and you at the end of the phase, and then you get that.
And you can spend it. With
spend
as well,
one.
Oh yeah, and just cycle through.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think there's some real interesting stuff that we're going to see with this. I mean, even if nothing else, you can bring us Morrigan along on a ship. You can put some ordnance experts on your epic ship, take a bunch of ordnance carrying smaller ships to go alongside it, and then once all of your ordnance is spent, you swap it out for something else.
Yeah.
It's a very flexible upgrade, and I think we will see It's going to make the C-ROC a tricky ship to pin down, I think.
It's going to make Scum epic. It's going to build sort of very much how Scum epic functions.
I also think they'll need
In
to
a lot of
FAQ
ways.
it because right now I can see an argument for someone saying, "Well, I've discarded the crew, but I can easily switch them." There could be an argument made for that. Just saying. I don't think they should, but they might need to FAQ that.
To be honest, we desperately need a new epic FAQ anyway, because the one we've currently got is about 18 months old, I think, at this point.
Yes.
And the game has come quite a long way since then. So, our next card up is another Scum-only crew. Though, note that this one does not include the words huge ship only. So, Sitrak Vizago is available in standard play. As a 0-point crew as well, he's very affordable. And at the start of the end phase, you may discard this card to replace a face-up illicit or cargo upgrade you have equipped with another upgrade card of the same type of equal or fewer squad points.
So, like as Morrigan, for different upgrades, but a one use only.
Yeah. Decide you don't need that glitter stim anymore, swap it out.
Yeah.
And of course, the interesting one that everyone has immediately jumped to and started discussing is what happens if you discard the illicit cloaking device while you're cloaked. And the answer to that is you stay cloaked until you decloak. Just stuck,
you'll be
stuck
permanently-
cloaked.
Just stay cloaked. Just cloak forever.
And the most recent email conversation that someone's had with Frank Brooks supports that. The thing that's keeping you cloaked is the cloaking token, not the cloaking device.
So you can just have
A hawk going round like that.
Yeah, that's the exact example I was going for. You could have you can have
Palob.
Palob wandering around on 4 of 8 dice, just nicking tokens. Easily just keep him cheap, and yeah,
There's some,
He's just going to be a pure annoyance the whole game then.
yeah. That's very much the idea.
though it's worth noting it has to be a face-up card, so any of your one use and then discard.
Yeah, so like
elicits-
Hot Shot, Blaster,
Yeah.
or if Scavenger Crane has been turned face down.
Yeah, that's gone. They're gone now.
Yeah.
There is one other new crew member, but we will come to them in a little bit.
Oh yeah, it says face up. So yeah, actually they've already prefaced that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. As Morrigan does also specify face up. So you can't say spend Boba Fett and then swap him out for someone else.
Which
Yeah.
makes sense.
We've then got 2 more broadly applicable new epic upgrades. And I'm not sure if Elliot's going to have a scan of that.
None of those.
Now, I will pass that one over. We've got the IGRM Thug Droids. And this is a 1-point team upgrade. Again, for those of you familiar with Epic, this is the first time that we've seen a team upgrade anything approaching that kind of cheap price point. And I believe its effect is...
When attacking, you may change one of your hit results to a crit.
so basically, you can turn your hard points into mangler cannons.
Oh, that is crazy.
For 1 point, you can't really complain.
No, that is quite nice.
And it's worth noting that's not once per round. So
That's just
when
what it
you're
does.
when you're unloading with your like full turbo laser and ion cannon batteries into something, each one of those shots plus, and it's not secondary weapons, it's just when attacking,
And-
plus your primary, all have that potential ability to crit.
And usable by anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, very important that. So I imagine that is going to get a massive amount of play. The number of times that you
Cheap, it's
see,
good. Yeah.
well, as well, the number of times that you see epic ships flying around with one or more unfilled team slots is quite substantial. Because teams are normally a big investment in points, so
Yeah.
I think that's going to be just a kind of, oh, I've got a point spare, slide it on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the ones I've seen are like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. You know, they're quite costly, but you know, if you're at 2.99, you've got a point spare, and you just go, well, might as
You
well.
may as well have some thug droids.
And unlike some of the other ways that we've seen this effect being achieved, so like Bistan and I believe it's Mercenary Co-Pilot, both do a similar effect, there's no range restriction either.
No,
That is true. Those Bistan works at range 1, the Mercenary Co-Pilot's at range 3. But these guys everywhere.
you kind of feel like, as you know, going for the merchant one, giving them an extra crew and team, and maybe putting Mercenary Co-Pilot and that to get a double effect at range 3.
Just dish crits out left, right,
Yeah,
and centre.
just 2 crits and just go with it.
Certainly, I think Scum have got a new party bus, but
Yeah.
that party bus is epic only.
Yeah.
But, you know, continues their fine tradition of parties.
Filling ships with bounty hunters.
Yes. And
More
robots.
droids, yeah.
Bounty hunters and robots.
And finally, we've got some supercharged power cells. Now, these are another. These are a cargo upgrade. They're limited, so you can only have 1 per ship. When attacking, you may discard this card to roll 2 additional attack dice for 3 points.
So that means you could turn your heavy laser turret to 6 attacks.
6 dice for 1 attack.
For 1 shot only,
Whoa.
but that's still 6 dice.
You can never sort of say no to six dice, can you really?
It's
Yeah,
pretty
so-
punchy.
Exactly, it's a lot to throw down and just go, well, you're going to take a lot of punishment here, guys. Just you know.
I mean, it's worth noting that epic ships do always tend to suffer from a slight issue that they don't have as much access to dice modification.
No.
They
can get,
can't focus.
They can get a target lock, but yeah, no focuses.
Just had an idea though. If you could take this on the rebel side and add another big turret, I'm not very well advised on epic. You could run Jan Alls with it and go, there's another one as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep throwing dice on.
Have some more. Just have more
Oh
dice.
dear.
Audio Wizard suggests the party bus name is taken. How about the party barge for this one?
Like it.
There we go.
Yeah,
like it.
Yeah.
Party barge. It's now officially the party barge. There we go.
There you go.
It's very slow moving, so a barge is kind of the right name for it, really, isn't it?
And on the topic of barges, we come to our next upgrade card, which is kind of really the bridge between standard and epic play in this expansion. And the owner of a very fine sail barge himself, Jabba the Hutt. And I think we've all been waiting for this card to come out more or less since Scum was first announced.
Yeah. I'm surprised it took them this long to figure out what to do with them, to be honest.
To no one's surprise, Jabba is a Scum-only crew, and also to no one's surprise, he takes 2 crew slots.
I think that's mostly because he fits in both of those seats.
Yeah.
Yes, unlike the Emperor who likes his legroom, Jabba just needs that
He
extra
needs it
space.
different reasons.
He likes to put his feet up.
Jabba has got an interesting ability. When you equip this card, place 1 illicit token on each of your illicit upgrade cards in your squad. When you are instructed to discard an upgrade card, you may discard 1 illicit token on that card instead. So this is a great deal like extra munitions.
Is an extra munitions for illicit tokens, but for every ship you've brought, rather than just on this ship.
And comes complete with some nice little
Tokens.
credit tokens.
Which hopefully one day we'll get some acrylics of, but who knows?
Well,
we can
presumably, they're running out of tokens to acrylic, then they're going to need to...
Hey, I need me some square focus tokens.
Yeah, fair.
But so you could obviously take this. I'm thinking like the likes of Scavenger Crane, because you could put that on there. If the first time it tells you to discard it,
You can
so
keep it.
You break it.
May I?
You use the illicit
Absolutely.
token.
Of course.
Just to give
use the
our
Elliot
audience
token, or
a
the
nice look.
or the same for the
Hotshot Blaster.
Hotshot Blaster. You can use twice, 2 shots of glitter stim. Jabba does let you pile more drugs into your spaceship.
I think Jabba's going to see a lot of play
Yeah,
in
I
Epic.
think so.
Yeah.
I think he is really well suited to that format. I
Very.
think Scum have got a slight problem. It's fielding him in standard play, which is they've got one choice of ship that they can put him on, and that's the YV666.
Yes.
And the
So it'd be a different kind of party
YV666.
bus.
Well, it's a minimum of 29 points, and then you put 5 points of the Jabba the Hutt on there, and you've got 34 points of ship, and a third of your list has gone onto one ship that doesn't do much other than boost your illicit upgrades.
To make him efficient, you have to have lots of very smaller ships that have
Have illicits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that point, does it become worth it?
I mean,
Maybe.
I think there are ways
Maybe,
of doing
yeah.
it. I think, in particular, the revisions to the CROCs that we're seeing in Guns for Hire is going to
Help.
do a lot,
Yeah.
because
And
then
also
you can
those
fit a
cheap-
lot of cheap illicits in.
And also,
Yeah.
likewise, doesn't the CROC have one as well? I don't know if it does or not.
Yeah, the CROCs.
Yes,
that's-
Yeah.
So
that's
obviously,
what we
with the
were
CROCs
just
reducing
saying.
one for each upgrade, you're getting
Yes.
2 shots for one less point than it would have cost you. Taking Boba.
Yeah, if
Sorry,
you take
taking
Jabba,
Jabba, not
then
Boba.
you can spend on each of those 2 points for a Hotshot Blaster, which would then give you 2 shots rather than 1.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in 100 points, you can run 3 CROCs with just the basic Cartel Marauders, but all kitted out with Hotshot Blasters, and all kitted out with munitions failsafe. So 3 of those comfortably fits alongside the YV666 with Jabba on board,
Yeah.
giving you a whole bunch of 3 dice turrets on small bases,
Yes.
zooming around the place. So I don't think it's going to be uber competitive. In standard format, but I think Jabba brings some really interesting
He is
new
something.
stuff to the
He
design
is something
space.
you can build around. But yeah, as you say, he's not going to be everywhere in standard.
Yeah. But he has got a link, obviously, because he can go on the YV666.
Yeah, he's got a location. If Scum come out with another 2 crew slot ship that's cheaper, then he might become more useful if they get their equivalent of, say, a U-wing.
Kind of feels like they're going to have to at some point, because,
Maybe.
Someone said, Dookies has just suggested, since all epics are now going to proxy thugs, fly YV666 withdraw their fire next to the C-ROC with Gonk on board.
That is a fabulous idea that I like a great deal.
then you pick and choose which way those crits go, and regenning them, and...
Yeah, you take the crits and then you just regen. So
That feels like a draw their fire from Chewie and then regen those as well. But
Good stuff. No, I like it. So, do we want to start taking a look at the M3A at this point?
Yeah, it's got the little guy.
We've got a few new upgrades, but I think it's worth us talking about the pilots first and then coming on to the upgrades.
Pilots
probably.
are fancy.
Yep.
So, as you'd expect, you get an M3A in the box, which means you also get a Cartel Spacer and a Tansari Point Veteran, both in the box.
Yep. No new generics this time around. Just the same standard 2 you got in the base pack.
But to be honest, I think
But
the
that's
M3A
fine.
is relatively well served. You've got your PS2 cheapo, and you've got your PS5 with an EPT.
Yeah, I don't think they had any real space to put in a different flavour of generic there.
No.
So that's fine. I think
But we do get
4 new
four new named pilots.
All
With
new
some
shinies.
fabulous artwork to go with all of them as well.
and some interesting abilities in here, I think.
Yes. Shall we start with Sunny Bounder?
Sure. Uniquely, PS1 unique.
Lower pilot skill than any of the generics for the ship.
Yes. But the only pilot skill 1 ship to ever be a unique pilot so
Also-
far.
Also worth noting, only 14 points, so the same price as the Cartel Spacer.
Yeah, you drop a pilot skill and you gain an ability.
That feels like it kind of evens itself out. You normally use points for pilot skill, but then you gain points for an ability. So you sort of feel like you're going along the same sort of vein there, really, don't you?
Yeah.
There are very specific reasons for that 14-point price point as well, which we will come to when we get to the upgrades. So, Sunny Bounder, it's an M3A, much as you'd expect. No additional upgrades, and with the pilot ability, once per round, after you roll or re-roll dice. Note that's after you roll or re-roll.
Spend your target lock reroll still works.
If you have the same result on each of your dice, you may add one matching result.
So potentially turns a 2 dice primary into ending up being 3 hits at range band 3.
Yeah.
If you have them. If you are shooting someone with your primary, you roll 2 hits. That's now 3 hits. You're trying to dodge, you roll 3 evades. That's 4 evades. You've dodged a...
And also, if you have an evade token, that's 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've got a target lock on someone and you roll 2 blanks, you can add a third blank and then re-roll all of those dice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a gambler's pilot of choice, I think.
Oh yes, she really is. Also, as the ability, it does work when you re-roll. If you spend your target lock and re-roll into all the same results, you can trigger the ability then.
Yeah. Though importantly, it's once per round, so you can't add a blank, target lock,
roll
re-roll
3 hits,
re-roll
add
3
another
hits,
hit.
turn it into 4. It stops.
No.
It stops at a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the low points cost, I quite like that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's good for a cheap blocker that can occasionally do more damage than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a surprise package that I think might throw people.
Mm-hmm. And considering 2 of the same result on your 2 red dice, that's not uncommon.
No. 25% chance-ish? No, a little bit below that because you've got crits, but...
Yeah, it's about a 1 in 5, give or take, which is pretty good.
Or if you want to make her more deadly, shove her laser gun on her, just for a bit of fun, and
So you can get
5
5.
Just pray for those 4 hits to come up.
Obviously the chances of that start decreasing rapidly, but
at least I think with that you're
Doing it once or twice a game while she's still on the table, that extra little bit of push.
I think you're still you're not likely to even get 1 a game at those numbers.
Well, all you need is 2 hits to do 3 damage. But then again, I guess at the same time, you might as well. I mean, it's there. I think it's more of those. It's
True,
not an
but it has
ability
to be-
you look to activate. It's an ability that you
the
activate
problem with
when
it-
you can.
True. I mean, the problem with it on an HLC is it is all of the dice.
All your dice have to be the same result.
Which means a couple of hits and a blank. It's still not good enough.
Oh yeah, so that's good. That's true actually. Yeah, that's actually
It's
yeah.
every
'Cause I thought it was
single
only
one.
2 matching results.
Nope.
But no, good
Or
point.
it is every single die you roll has to
Very
be
good point. So actually,
has to be the same.
low attack actually suits it.
On this is one that when we get to it, I would take with the new title more often than not.
Which we'll
Keep
get
it cheap.
I think Max is very much on the money though
No, I
about,
agree.
about what this ship is used for. You take it as a cheap blocker,
Yes.
you
It's cheap.
throw it in there,
With
and
a
your
surprise.
opponent underestimates it, and just occasionally it
She's
hits
surprised.
with much more of a punch than it should.
Very occasionally, she will surprise you with a good shot or an almost impossible evade,
Yeah.
which she's also more than capable of doing.
Yeah.
So next up along the pilot skill ranking.
Before we get on that, or do we just
sorry.
come up with a question?
Oh, yes.
Which is, so with Mangler, it would be roll 3, roll for TL, add 1, and then change 1 to a crit for hit, crit.
Yes.
Hit, crit, yeah. Interesting. So
3
yeah,
hits and a crit.
that can
Wow.
work.
Yes, doable. Certainly doable.
Doable, unlikely.
But if you're willing to play the odds,
Yeah. It depends how much you want to gamble, and
She like I said, it is one of those abilities that you'd like to get off. She sort of underestimates, she's not a pilot skill 7, 8, 9, 10 that's going to get up in your grill and try and blast you off the board like Fen and Talonbane. She could quite easily stay around because of her unpredictability of when
as I say, though,
she's going to start doing stuff.
I say though, with her primary attack, you're looking at you're looking at being able to turn 2 hits into 3 hits, roughly 1 shot in 5, or 2 good results into 2 other good results. That's combining. I did actually calculate it once when it first.
oh yeah, of course, because it works on pairs of focuses as well. So if
It
you've
works
got
on pairs of
focus
focuses
opens,
and
then-
pairs of crits if you get them.
Oh yeah.
So I
Pair of
did
blanks as well.
a pair
So
of blanks as well. I did work out the odds, but I can't remember them off the top of my head because it was a while ago.
Probably for the best that Sunny doesn't have an EPT. Otherwise, you'd be able
Probably.
to throw Mindlink on there, and she'd have a lot more quality of dice going on.
Or Predator.
Predator, yeah.
Yes,
She
or
would.
fearlessness.
Oh, fearlessness.
Ironically, we had that in a game last night.
Get her into
range 1.
Range 1, she gets 3 dice naturally.
Yeah,
3
3.
hits, add 1.
4,
Fearlessness,
5.
5 hits out of my 2 attack dice ship. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
That'd be stupid.
It
So,
really would.
I'm going to support FFG in not putting elite pilot talent on that ship.
Very, very much so. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Um,
they did. That's absolutely the right call.
Next along our pilot skill ranking, we come in at pilot skill 3 with Ineldra. Ineldra does have an elite pilot talent and is only 15 points. So same price point as the Tansari Point veteran.
2 pilot skill down,
2 pilot skill down.
but with this ability.
Oh no, hold on. No, cheaper than 2 points cheaper than the Tansari
yes,
Point
2
veteran.
points
There we
cheaper.
go.
2 pilot skill down and with...
So, ability-wise, when attacking or defending, you may spend 1 shield to reroll any number of your dice.
Yeah, that's...
This is not an ability you're going to want to use every game.
No.
But with some of the upgrades that are coming out, there is a way around that.
It's true.
It is true. It does mean effectively you can use your focus tokens, not your focus tokens, but your shield token as
Effectively a target lock.
effectively a target lock that also works on your greens.
Yeah.
So if you would die, you can instead take a hit to re-roll your dice and maybe not die.
Yeah.
For example.
Mm.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's worth talking about a companion card with this one.
Yes, because there is
That's
one
probably a
very
good
specific thing that makes this not completely useless.
So, it's an ability that, off the top of your head, you think that's only going to work once per game at most.
It has a shield.
However, there is a potential way around this. Included in the C-ROC expansion, we've got a new Rebel and Scum only modification, the Pulsed Ray Shield. This 2-point modification means that at the end, during the end phase, you may receive 1 Ion token to recover 1 shield up to your shield value. You can equip this card only if your shield value is 1.
So yeah,
There you
that
go.
would mean that will sit on the M3A,
Great.
Hawks, both sides,
Kirax.
Kirax and the Star Viper.
Yeah.
That is true.
And
So it's got a fair few uses as well. And obviously, alongside her, spend a shield 1 turn. At the end of the phase, go, I'll take an ion to regen that shield back so
Yep.
next time I can go for it again.
it works.
Yeah, this is a hit and run ship.
Yeah.
It works particularly well with Inaldra's low pilot skill, because by the time you got down to Inaldra, most of your opponent's ships are likely to have acted and shot and done all of their stuff. So then you can make some very clear decisions about, is it worth burning the shield to reroll my attack dice?
Yes.
Do I
If you
want to
have
try
one
and
left.
do I want to try and punch that damage through?
Yeah.
And then if you do,
If
you
you
can
do-
then make some very sensible decisions about, do I want to ionize myself to get that shield back?
Yeah, if you're in a situation where got the lowest pilot skill, your opponents have all shot, you still have your shield, 1 forward next turn. Yeah, I can do. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, spend it, boost all your attack dice, and then just get your shield back at the end.
The other thing that's worth noting is by ioning yourself, you give the M3A a manoeuvre it does not have on its dial, which is a 1 forward. So there's even potentially some manoeuvring use in there, as long as you don't mind
Yes.
massively flagging to your opponent what you're about to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a setup that has some uses.
I think she's got an interesting ability, but it's one she's not a pilot I'm going to use for her ability very much. She's a pilot I'm going to use for the fact that she is a 15-point ship with an elite pilot talent,
Yeah.
which means I can fit a tiny mind link in a list for 16 points or less.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nearly like saying, if I can afford to take the PS5 Z95, can't remember the name,
Cartolietros.
that's 15 points off the block.
Yeah.
A tiny mind link, but then you're going to end up wanting to put missiles and stuff on there as well. It's considerably cheaper than that.
So, next up, we have Quinn Jest. Quinn is another pilot skill 6. One of the things I quite enjoy about this supplement, actually, is we're seeing a lot of girl power from the scum side here. We've got a lot of named female pilots, which is
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4.
And go up count that on top of the previous M3A. I think there's only one
Was
male
it?
pilot on the ship.
Yes. Who we will be coming to in a moment.
In a bit, he turns up. He's not yet.
But no, it's nice. One of the things I enjoy about the Star Wars universe is quite a like sort of diverse and representative universe by its nature, and it's nice to see that being carried across into the miniatures game as well.
Yeah.
So with Quinn Jest, pilot skill 6 has an EPT, costs a grand total of 18 points, and comes with another interesting pilot ability. At the start of the combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip one of your discarded torpedo or missile upgrades face up.
So, realistically, what you're looking at here is 20 points base, because you are definitely taking the heavy sick Interceptor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's completely useless, but still, very cheap. And finally, a use for the non-cannon heavy sick.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's a one-shot useful thing.
So you put some proton rockets, yeah.
Yeah, proton rockets.
Proton rockets on that.
Proton torps. Might do it quite nicely.
Proton rockets gives you a 23-point ship, 25 with pulse ray shield.
Yeah.
Quinn Jest blazes into range 1,
5 dice.
hurls 5 dice at someone,
Runs away.
ions herself past the
Yeah.
next turn to recover some of the damage she's taken, or burns away fast.
Turns around and comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on what she's a tiny mind link to, potentially.
If she has that, yeah. Which, she may well do.
Or even VI up to 8. It's not a bad
VI
start.
up to 8 isn't a bad call. Deadeye also isn't a bad call as well.
I think
if you're-
Deadeye is going to be very,
Oh, yeah,
very
'cause
much...
that will help with their missiles.
Yes, if you're not...
Because you wouldn't take
using-
guidance chips to go for the pulse ray shields. So you might as well make it into all
Yeah.
the way. Yeah, so Deadeye.
Although if you want to keep her cheap, throw some guidance chips on there and like 23 points, you've got something that's coming in, throwing 5 attack dice that are
Running away.
heavily modified.
Yeah.
Then running away and
Run away,
coming back in.
reload and charge back.
I just don't think it can run away too much, because it's not got. If it had a 5 forward, maybe, but
Well, in that case, what you do, if you're not using a pulse ray shield, if you're using guidance chips, what you're then doing is the 5k to turn around, come back.
Yeah. Because you still have your weapons yourself, so you won't be able to shoot the next turn either.
No, yeah, exactly. You're spending that turn flying past them as fast as you can, which is the 5k, because you do want to turn around, come back for your next shot.
And then do a 2 straight, close the distance.
3's green.
Yeah, I was good. Depending obviously where they set up, if they
Oh, true.
recognise what you're doing.
True, although because you're in this setup, if you're using, say, the proton rockets, you do need to be in range 1.
Yeah.
So 3 to push close.
I think Quinn's a really interesting pilot, partly because even once you kit her out, you're looking at kind of like 23 to 25 points.
She might be an interesting sort of pocket ace.
Yeah.
kind
She
of
can
thing.
be a flanker or a distraction and draw people's attention away from other more useful things in your list, just because people are something like, well, actually, I don't really want to take a second homing missile or a second proton rocket.
Or whatever you've got with you. Yeah.
Or if you're flying her in Epic, just load her up with some assault missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And obviously as well, because effectively you say you spend however many points for the missile, if you get it back 2 or 3 times, you're like, well, that was points well spent.
Absolutely. I mean, generally speaking, when you're taking something with missiles or ordnance at all, it's on something with extra munitions. So even just being able to cut off this ability once is 3 extra munitions.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
If you can do it twice, then, well, you're quid's
You're
in.
golden.
Yeah. I'm curious to try Quinn Jest. I have a sneaking suspicion she's not a pilot we're going to see in like competitive tournament play, but I think she's one of those very fun pilots.
Yeah.
And then finally, clocking in at pilot skill 7, we have the very rock and roll sounding Genesis Red.
Not the stupidest name in the game.
Definitely not.
By a slim margin.
Well, I think Talonbane Cobra just pips him.
It's true. That's even more metal.
Audio Weasel, Genesis Red is going to be the name of my next 80s style hair metal band.
I would like to be part of that.
Nice. At pilot skill 7, Genesis Red comes with an elite pilot talent and clocks in at 19 points. And he's got the pilot ability, After you acquire a target lock, assign focus and evade tokens to your ship until you have the same number of each token as the locked ship.
That's a really interesting ability.
It really is.
Especially if you're
Fantastic for a mind link list.
Especially if you're target locking a low pilot skill that has reacted and has put, like for example, the first thing that comes to mind is Countess Riyadh.
Well,
so if she's
my
done
thought
push
was
the limit,
7 interceptors in general.
well, yeah. But if she's done push the limit, got the focus and the evade,
Was there an FAQ on this one as well?
Genesis Red?
Yes.
Don't believe so.
Because technically, if you target lock someone without a focus, you assign a focus token. You could technically keep assigning a focus token because you're never equal, technically speaking.
I don't
You're
know that
equal at 0.
so you wouldn't assign
That's
any.
true. Actually, good point.
Yeah.
That's true.
You keep-
0 is a number that is thrown around a lot in X-Wing. So yeah.
No, 0 is a number. 0 is an amount of focus tokens you can have.
Yeah. Thing is,
Or evade tokens.
it would take a while for people to understand that you can spend focus or stress to not to change 0 results.
Here's the interesting thing though. What happens if he's mind linked and something is acted? So let's say, for example, Quinn Jest or one of the lower pilot skills has then done a focus.
Yep, so he has one now.
So then he's above something that's not done one.
Yep.
That's the. I think that's also the counter argument then, because you're then always above the value.
You're incapable of assigning focus tokens in order to... the logical thing to do there is you don't gain any.
Yeah,
Realistically
but there
speaking.
is,
If it's functionally impossible to add until you have the same number, then you
don't.
can't do the thing.
Yeah.
You just can't do the thing.
Yeah, infinite combo, and that's
So don't do
yeah.
it. They might want to clarify the wording, but that seems like an obvious how that works, to be honest.
I really like Genesis Red. I think
it's a really
his
good
pilot
ability.
ability is great. My only caveat about using him in a mind link list is he's very reliant on people having lower pilot skill than him.
That is
He
true.
needs people to have moved and taken actions before he moves and takes his action.
That is true. Yeah.
So
He does
He's-
also benefit quite nicely from VI.
yeah.
bump him up to pilot skill 9,
Yeah.
and then anything that's pilot skill 8 or less, you're
Or 9
good
and
on.
acted before.
9
because of,
you've
losing
given initiative. Yeah. It gives you some interesting options to use him as an ace at that point.
And it's low cost as well. You could quite easily just throw him in and just have some fun. You know, give him the old title.
I think you'd at that point you'd want him in a heavy sick with a cannon, probably Mangler will do if you don't want to get him too expensive. HLC being rather pricey, but
So-
even with HLC
And the heavy
28
stick,
points?
9,
28.
28, 29 for
29.
VI.
29 if you've VI with a heavy laser cannon isn't.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but you could drop him down a bit. Significantly cheaper.
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
I think Genesis Red is one that we will actually genuinely see
I think you're
getting a
probably right.
decent amount of table time.
Yeah, I think he'll turn up a bit. He's
Part of me is so tempted.
it's a good ability. It's a good strong ability. It's a nice X7 counter. You token up just as much as they are.
And that 4 dice with
Yeah,
the
better,
HLC was something that made me actually win a game against a defender, believe it or not, because I was rolling like 4 hits every single time, amazingly. And they only got 3 evade dice, a focus and an evade. So I have to see all symbols to match.
So, upgrade wise, there's a couple more to cover. First of all, there is one, and sadly only one, new copy of Heavy Psych Interceptor in there, but it does at least mean that you'll have one card that's got the hull value errata on there.
True. Although there's only going to be one because every other Interceptor you've bought came with it.
This is true.
So there's no point having more of them except to have the extra bit of text written on them, which useless. Good reminder.
I'm sure you could always take a copy of it and just slide it over the top of the card when you go into a tournament, just so you have the extra line of wording there.
On the other hand, to the Heavy Psych Interceptor, there's also the Light Psych Interceptor, which is another M3A Interceptor only title. This is a -2 points cost, so brings those 14 point generics down to 12 points, brings Sunny down to 12 points. As we were saying, there's a reason that there's a 14 point minimum, because FFG do not want to release a below 12 point ship.
Yeah.
And the Light Sight Interceptor. All damage cards dealt to you are dealt face up. A bracing bit of wording there. You may, however, treat all bank manoeuvres as green manoeuvres. You cannot equip modification upgrades. So this really is designed for you to get cheap and cheerful psychs thrown in there for not many points.
Cheap as chips in there.
Chips, yeah. It does give you your 3 banks turning into green. The 1 and 2 are already green on that dial.
Yeah.
Apart from obviously it not having the one straight, it's effectively like you've got another like an aggressive dial, ID 2000 sort of through the middle.
It's very much like a TIE Fighter dial, to be honest.
And everyone is saying, yeah, but crit still face up. But then what are you concerned about?
That's one card.
It's the one card.
There's literally
That's
one
one
card.
card.
You've got 2 hull. The second one kills you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Unless that first one is direct hit, it kills you anyway.
I mean, maybe. That's that
Risk.
It's a slight risk, but really,
Yeah.
This is a card I need to play around with a bit to be fully convinced by, but that reduction in points cost is a very meaningful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And looking purely at kind of like the current flavour upgrade, you stick this on an Aldra with Mindlink, and you've got a 15-point Mindlink ship that you can then just build the rest of your list around, which opens up some new and interesting possibilities. And means that you're not stuck in that kind of like everything has to be 25 or 33 points.
Well, at that point, you're spending 14 points on a Mindlink. She's 15 on her own. Drop her down to 13 with
good point.
With the title. 14 points to put a Mindlink on your board.
Very nice.
Very cheap.
And last of all, we have got...
Point is, you get 6 of the Light Psych Interceptor cards.
No, that is a very good point.
6.
So those of you
Lots.
who already own 5 psychs for reasons best known to yourselves...
Nearly there. I've got 3.
It's true, yeah. This is
3 more than me.
This is my 4th. Last of all, we've got the Arccaster. And following a theme that we've seen through quite a lot of the cards in this pack, this is another Rebel and Scum only card. The Arccaster is a dual card as well. It's a cannon secondary weapon with 4 attack, range 1 and a 2-point cost. Attack 1 ship. If this attack hits, you must choose one other ship at range 1 of the defender to suffer 1 damage. Then flip this card. And on the other side, you've got your Arccaster recharging. At the start of the combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip this card. So it gives you a lot of punch at a very short range.
Very cheap.
For quite a cheap points cost, but there are some definite downsides there as well.
Mm-hmm.
The having to do damage to something else at range 1 is a double-edged sword. Like, sometimes that's going to be fantastic. You fly into a TIE Swarm with that, and it's pure gold.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally, it's going to be you.
Yeah, you are the other ship at range 1 of the target.
Yeah.
And you electrocute yourself with your Arccaster.
Yes.
Or hang on a minute. It doesn't specify where range 1 of this target has to be, because it could be at range 2 of you, but range 1 the other side of the ship.
Entirely possible, yes.
Yeah.
Range
So
1
you
of the
can
target ship.
You can scatter back from it potentially.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, but sometimes that's not going to trigger, and you're just going to electrocute yourself.
So why Rebel and Scum only, people?
Because you don't want to put this on a TIE Defender.
Oh no,
that gives people nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
A ruthlessness TIE Defender doing this can do
11 points
11
of
damage. You said, Elliot.
11 damage. I run the numbers.
Yeah, which
like
is just too much. That's too much.
That's best case scenario territory, but it's still.
Yes, but you could fit if you have, say, 2 of them. That's 22 damage coming out of 2 ships potentially. That's
nonsense.
Which cost what? 16 points? 18 points. Because if you have the cheapest cartel spacer...
For TIE Defenders.
TIE D.
Oh yeah, TIE.
So the cheapest one is 32 for TIE D, 34 for the Arccaster, so 68 points.
So yeah, you're getting expensive, but for 22 points of damage in a turn, yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah, which is why that's not allowed.
Yeah,
no, that would be.
There's a reason FG said you couldn't take heavy laser cannon on those things. So
yeah.
The interesting thing about this card is it doesn't really currently have a place on anything other than the M3A.
Realistically, no, not a good
because one. Scum don't have much in the way of cannon carriers. They've got the M3A and the. What is it?
The YV666.
The YV666, is that it?
Yeah, they've got one.
That's already a 3 attack dice ship, so it doesn't really particularly need the boost up to 4 dice.
Yep.
He's got me on the rebel side either, because the B-wing has got
can take
same situation.
Yeah, it's already got 3 attack dice for in range 1.
You kind of want to go, I want to put a heavy laser cannon there, so you have a 4 dice
All the
shot
way along.
wherever.
Yeah, the other thing that can take it is the YT-2400.
The Outrider, as Ollie Weasel now says.
Yeah, the Outrider can have it, and that's silly. But
I mean,
maybe
if
not a
you're-
good idea.
If you're feeling really bold and want to load out an Outrider with an Arccaster and take some very brave plays, you were probably going to take people by surprise. I'm not sure you're going to win games, but you are going to take people by surprise.
Yeah,
That's going to be the demo game.
you know, that's sort of...
Sneak peek, people.
Yeah, I sort of had a little look on Benchmark, and obviously the card itself isn't necessarily active on there, but I was sort of thinking, well, okay, I've shot this turn. The next time I get a shot, I'll cancel those attack dice immediately, and then we'll go forwards from there. So, you know, Dash is really the only sort of... Dash or Lebo, for me, are the two only viable ones. You could go either Determination Lebo to try and stop crits coming in, just go, I'll just take the damage that comes off that necessarily, and then run like Chewie to regen 1.
So,
I have to say, I do really like that they're going more in on this double-sided card thing. It's like their first attempt, their first thing with it, obviously being adaptability, was really just cheap VI.
yeah.
But and obviously you pick which side you're on at the start of the game, which. But now things that actually flip in game and actually, use the. I'm throwing things all over the place.
Dookie actually brings
I really
up a
like.
point. Even on the M3A, if you're trying to save points, you're probably swarming with low PS. Would you actually want to fly these at range 1?
It's an interesting decision. Like, if you're taking them at low PS, you're looking at 18 points for a Cartel Spacer with heavy psych and that. I genuinely think you don't swarm them. Like, what you do is you take an 18-point Cartel Spacer with an Arccaster and you fly it down your flank while the rest of your force is coming in here, and people either engage the rest of your force and get suddenly there's this horrific cannon being fired into the side of them, or they come and turn some attention towards an 18-point ship and you're winning the positional advantage at that point.
Yeah.
Well, what I was just thinking is...
Yeah, I think that's...
You've forgotten this guy, or her. She can be PS2 with adaptability as a negative.
Yeah.
She can.
So, and obviously with her ability triggering it, when she comes to her... It could potentially come to her activation,
throw some rerolls in, yeah, if you're willing to
take
some risks. The place that I think Rebels can use this is that you take it and you stick it on Eden Vril, and then Eden Vril's got a 3 dice turret when he's shooting at stressed people, and
or range 1,
or he's got well, you don't put Outrider on there, but in primary arc he's got a 4 dice attack if he finds himself in a bad position.
Also, he's got 4 dice all round at range 1.
34 points off the top of my head. 32 for Eden, plus 2 for the Arccaster.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how great that is, but it's something I would be willing to try.
I've tried him recently with just putting Ray on there at 34 points and putting some stress giving ships alongside that, and it's like, ooh, for me, I love my 2400s. Never really used Eden. It's just like I might have now found a way to make him worth it.
Well, they're in vogue now, thanks to Europeans. So
yes. Apparently you took the cutting edge meta ship along.
There you go.
And there you go, you filthy meta pilot.
No. I started playing it in October last year, so I was playing it before it became meta.
Oh, you're a hipster.
That's the one. That's the type of phrase I'll go with.
There we go, space
Thank you very
hipster. Great. There we go. So which is worse, filthy meta pilot or space hipster?
Vote now on the stream.
Beautiful.
I won't be ever in the stream room ever again. I can see that coming now.
I'm a big fan of this expansion as a whole.
Oh yeah.
The new stuff for the M3A is fantastic, and it gives it a new life on the table.
Yeah.
It's a ship I've always been a fan of. I like them. One of my best tournament placements was with 3 C-ROCs and 2 M3As, and that was without any of the extra stuff that's coming with this. So they've just strictly got better since then.
So obviously, what's going to come out in the future with hired guns? So you say like the C-ROCs.
Yeah. Scum are seeing their less viable ships made more viable, and I think what that's going to see is that we are going to see more diversity in the meta, because one of the reasons that you see Scum flying the same few ships time and time again is that those are their few efficient good ships. Like, they don't have that much choice.
No.
Like
have
initially,
a-
it was basically just the aggressor, and then kind of like a few other things have got added on. But then you kind of like hit the Jumpmaster, the Lancer,
yeah.
and the Protectorate, and
Directorate,
suddenly they
yeah.
had real kind of like cutting edge tech.
They did. But with this stuff coming out, with hired guns coming in a bit, and I suppose we'll see what they end up doing with Wave 11. I've forgotten what their ship for Wave 11 is.
That's the Skurg.
Skurg! Yes, the Skurg.
The ship I am most excited about in Wave 11, and Wave 11 is a set of ships I am generally exceedingly excited about.
Yeah, they're coming to see actual diversity of stuff.
And we will be doing a live unboxing of those as well. So
Yes. Yeah, that, I also like as well, obviously, I've got into Scum recently as well. That Skurg has obviously got a pilot that can go Rebel as well. So I could play it Rebel, I could play it Scum, should I wish to,
Yeah, that's
So-
going to be interesting. A cross faction ship straight out the
at the
pack.
box.
The really big thing for me as well with all this, much as I'm a huge fan of the new M3A editions, it finally gives Scum an epic ship, which
Yeah.
means that you can run epic games and epic tournaments and actually have an
Scum.
epic points cost requirement, and Scum not be excluded automatically as a result.
Yeah.
Because I like epic play a great deal, but epic play is much better when people bring epic ships.
Yeah.
Before this, I suppose the epic list was all the robots.
Yeah.
All the robots.
which for our epic tournament we will be enforcing at least one epic ship rule.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Is
And
that
that's one per team, isn't it?
one per team. Yes.
Okay. Which I think is probably the right call.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's an epic tournament for one thing.
Yeah, it's an epic tournament. So
You know,
You should have an epic
Not
ship.
just 400 points of X-Wings on the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a few decisions on who I could potentially team up with for that, because I don't actually own an epic ship myself.
No,
So
nor
I
do
mean,
I.
I'll be bounding up with somebody and go. Can I sort of team up with you? You've got an epic ship. I've got a few ideas. Let's give it a go and see.
Well, I'm going to be breaking this bad boy out for the epic tournament. So if either of you gentlemen needs to borrow an epic ship, I can sort you out if needs be.
well, that's it for the unboxing itself. But there's more to go,
There
because
is.
Yes.
we're about to go and actually play a live game, which David and I will be commentating on. It'll be between Robin and Max, and you both have made lists. One utilising Scum
Yeah.
for, of course, and to showcase the M3A, what it can do, and the other using Rebel.
I've got 3 of the 4 new psych pilots in it. I couldn't quite get all 4 of them to work in the same list, but
I tried as well. It's the one on this side, which I slightly rewrote about 5 minutes before leaving the house because
Ever prepared.
based on my past experiences,
Yeah, that one.
I am going
The one
to
that's the
lose
only one that's
horribly.
rebel.
Like, every game I've played against Max on the stream, I think has not gone well for me.
But you have,
we'll
unlike
see.
me, actually won a unboxing game.
It's true.
I still haven't won one yet. Where both of you have, so you're going to have to try and settle your ties on this one.
Oh
So-
well.
That is the C-ROC Cruiser, now available in your friendly local game store, which we are selling it for $69.99. And come and pick your copy up today. It is out as of today, as of now. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get home and rip my own box open, because this is mine. So yes, cannot wait.
I just couldn't hold off. I had to be in there with mine.
We needed one to show you, so that all works out.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. That was the reason.
Also, to answer your question, audio reason, we don't get
love the
political,
time.
but yes, I voted. I'm pretty sure these 3 gents have also voted.
Yep.
Yep. I did me a democracy.
Yep.
Hopefully the Senate will have changed slightly.
Yeah.
Keep it Star Wars
Well,
themed, of course.
It's fine. Palpatine will be coming for me later.
Oh dear.
Went out, wrote next in the box. There you go.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll have a fun game to commentate on. Like the 2 games we had last night were
Oh yeah, the 2
Was
games that
brilliant.
were out last night were fantastic. They'll be going up after today's unboxing.
Yeah.
With the unboxing will be going up onto YouTube pretty much immediately, and the games from last night will be going up onto YouTube over the next week or 2.
We are spoiling you good people with plenty of streamed content.
Yes, I mean, ever since we've got
Yeah.
into our new schedule where it's at least 2 games every 2 weeks, it's been fantastic. I
and
think.
obviously tournaments as well.
Yeah, and
It's-
tournaments. Your M3A has popped out of its
It has.
cradle.
I will sort that out once we've got
Well,
out.
you're
to the,
flying it anyway.
It's true. It's going to be on the board in a moment.
Speaking of, would you guys like to go out and get set up?
We will.
Oh.
Do you have any preferences as to which side of the board you want us on?
Scum on left, Ripple on right.
Cool.
Okay.
Left.
Left in which perspective?
Left in which perspective? Could I have... Where is it?